All right, today we are going to be working on Scrappy's motor. What we have here is the dead motor. That one is shot. I'll show you more about that later. It is hooked to a 46RH transmission, which is a four-wheel drive version, and had to have a transfer case on it to use it. And what I see here is an excuse to pull the motor, because I blew it up. Transmission that's way too heavy and sucks power, and a transfer case you don't need for a two-wheel drive vehicle. So we're going to get rid of all of this and replace it with something else. That something else is right here. And here is not what we're going to replace it with. This is a LA Block 318, which is standard 70s issue, carbureted, non-roller cam, non-good motor. They're not too bad, but they have no power. And here is what we want. This is a 5-speed manual transmission. We're a two-wheel drive output out of a early 2000s half-ton pickup. Now, a lot of people believe that the early 2000s truck with the 4.7 is a different animal. But, as you can see, the 4.7 transmission bolts up perfectly to the LA block. Now, the LA block is supposed to bolt up perfectly to a Magnum block, and so we're going to find out. So I'm going to try to put that transmission on another motor, which is over here. Here we have a transfer cased 5-speed transmission and 5.2 liter V8 out of a 94 Dodge Dakota. Now this is going to be a very basic stock motor, probably a temporary motor until I build something better for Scrappy, but hopefully it runs. I got it started, it hydrolocked, but slowly, so I'm figuring it's fine. Transmission's going, and I'm going to put on that 5-speed two-wheel drive one. We'll see if the splines and the input shaft and all that line up. Hopefully it bolts directly on and everything's done. And then we're going to drop it back into Scrappy and get them going again with 5-speed power. Let's see how that works. It'll be fun. We have the transmissions out. We have the 5.2 transmission off the motor, the one that was on the LA block off the motor, and they're here to visit with us now. Right here is the four-wheel drive with the transfer case, NV3500 from a 5.2 Magnum. And over here we have the two-wheel drive NV3500 from a 4.7 liter V8. As you can see, they look almost identical. Really, as far as the bolt pattern, the casting, edges, everything looks really identical. Only difference I'm seeing is the throwout bearing is a little smaller, and the hole that holds it in is on the opposite side. This is the NV3500 from the 4.7. This is from the 5.2. Spline count looks right. I'll check the diameters, but they're looking right by eye on the input shaft. So I'm going to go ahead and check those, swap out the throwout bearing, and we're going to try bolting her on. So let's see how that works. Here we are. Scrappy's on a lift. Last you saw, the motor and transmission were on the ground being put together, and that was the 5.2 out of a Dakota and the NV3500 5-speed out of a 02 pickup with the 4.7 V8. That bolted together fine. That is now inside Scrappy and mounted in place as far as the motor goes. I got a few issues lining up the transmission, so let's look at those. So far, what I've done is I've put in the original cross member from the 94 four-wheel drive automatic V8 Grand Cherokee. So that had a 46RH transmission and a 5.2 in it. That's in place. The transmission mount from the automatic, the factory one, I put on here for now. It's not going to be exactly right because the transmission is a different bolt pattern. But surprisingly, the pad lines up pretty close. You can see we've got the mounting holes on the transmission right here. On the mount, it's right there. So quick adapter, we'll straighten that out. The transmission is not at the right angle yet. The angle doesn't actually match the rear end. So I got to play with the height adjustment to get the U-joint angles to line up. Then we have the starter on the Grand Cherokee. It's on this side of the motor, passenger side. On the Dodge, transmission is on this side. So that's going to cause some issues because right now my exhaust goes right where the starter is. So I'm going to have to figure that one out. But it clears the suspension fine. So that's important right there. That's probably more important than exhaust. Clutch slave cylinder. This is the hydraulic unit from the 02 pickup. And that looks like it fits fine. The line actually looks like a pretty decent angle to bend around. I also have a slave cylinder from a few different vehicles. I might try out a few different ones there to see what fits best. But that one will definitely work if you need to. And that's it. She's in there. We got V8 again. Not V8 power because it doesn't run yet, but we'll get there.